when I would read about people whom I admired, you know, Elizabeth Barrett Browning, William James, people like that, and I would get there, if they wrote about a biography, I'd get that and study that. And if anyone contemporary wrote about them, I'd get the biography and study that one. And hopefully if they were dead, somebody had written after they died. So you got a pretty good picture of what the people were like. And so often these are people who were interested in what we now call ESP. And I thought, if I saw it myself, I believe it. So I started studying about what was being done. It wasn't being done much in this country except Duke University, but McGill and the universities in Germany, and particularly in Russia, they were 20 years ahead of us. And so I started studying what was being done then and everything. So when I started in '54 to do the research, I had the benefit of what the old scientists had been trying to do, and they learned what not to do and so forth. And that's, I think, made it successful. And so during that time, we had some experiences of remote viewing. And so then I figured when we retire, my husband was excellent psychic. I trained him. And I said, I didn't really, he was a skeptical. He said his first wife was always having her hands red, her palm red and all that stuff. You know, he didn't believe any of it. So it took a while, but he came around and became fantastic. In fact, he just visited me. He's been dead now since 2010. This may blow your mind and maybe you think I'm crazy, but a couple of weeks ago, one night or one day, I don't remember which it was, but during the time it happened, it was supposed in the daytime. It was just like you know, real thing had happened, just as real as anything. We were squatted down, side by side, and touching each other, not looking at each other, but looking at a wall. And we were talking to each other, how can we get the light turned on the other side of that wall? And while we're doing that, the light came on the other side of the wall. You couldn't see the light bulbs or anything, but you could see that the light had come on, you know, from the reflection of the light. And about that time, I don't know whether he said it to me or I just heard it in the air, there's someone at the door. So it's just as natural as possible. I said, I'll get it. I got up, went to the front door, and there was a man standing in front of me whom I'd never seen, but right behind him was an old friend that I'd known since, well, I guess 60 years. He's dead now, but he was a reporter with me, and I knew him so well, he became friends of my husband and me. And he's standing behind the other man, and he said, the only thing that was said, he said as an introduction to me, this is Prager. Now, I didn't know whether I was getting it right or not, but phonetically I spelled it P-R-A-G-E-R. And off to the side someplace, I wasn't seeing him, was a third person, another person, but I don't know who it was. And no one understood anything, that was it, and they all just faded away. And so I figured we had always told each other when we died, either whichever one of us went, we'd do our best to get back through. And I'd already seen my husband in the bedroom one day standing in front of me, and we're happy and everything's fine. And so this was not unusual, it didn't scare me or anything. And when I was a little kid, I used to want to see a ghost. And of course I believed in ghosts, all the kids did. It was scary, the very idea is scary. But I wanted to ask them where they lived and what they ate. I was a born investigator, I guess. So guess what, 85 years later, that was a couple of months ago, wasn't it? Yeah. 85 years later, I'm sitting reading in my chair without anything, no television on, nothing, just sitting reading. And I felt I should look over to the side, and here's a ghost. I mean, literally a ghost. Looked like an Indian chief, all in white, not white like the Ku Klux Klan, because I know what they dress like. I've fought with them for many years. But this was like he had white sheer nylon curtains over his body. And if you get food you want to put in the refrigerator, if you take the saran wrap and you sort of mold it around a piece of food or whatever, and put it in the refrigerator, it looked as if it had been molded around his face, sort of, and down over his shoulders, and he's just standing straight like that. And all on down was all white with, I could glimpse the features through it, but I couldn't have told what color eyes